classmates, parents, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. Let me start off my speech with a quote by Ann Landers. There are really only three types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say, "What happened?" It's actually a cycle that started when I entered LGCLA. I was only 6 years old back then, and totally clueless of what life would bring me. Still unmindful of my surroundings, often I would let things happen without reviewing for any corrections, like spelling words. I would continue to write without consciousness of how I spell. And when our teacher would check it, I'll cry out inside of my head, "What happened?" But that was so until I finally learned and understood while watching things happen through the guidance of my beloved teachers. Experimenting on new things each day and experiencing some of life's best was a huge part of it. Now that I'm standing here with all of my achievements in front of all the people who encouraged me, I'm sure that together with their help, I made things happen on my own. As part of my gratefulness for the school, allow me to share the things that I've learned and experienced throughout my years in LGCLA. Number 1, dreaming big. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Hitch your wagon to a star." First things first, everything happens with a dream. By that, I mean big dreams. LGCLA taught me to dream far from my imagination's limit. I once have dreamt of becoming an astronomer, wanting to learn more about stars, galaxies, and extraterrestrial planets. But with them, I learned how to dream farther. Now, not only did I think of studying about the stars, but to land on the stars, to voyage through comets and meteorites, and to actually show the world a new discovery of a planet shown in a selfie taken by me. That's what they taught me, to actually hitch my wagon to a star. Number 2, perseverance. RuPaul once said, "Life is about using the whole box of crayons." Perseverance is one thing that we wish for through burdens. It's one of the things LGCLA had taught me. No matter how hard life is, they taught me not to give up. They taught me to risk things rather than let the blowing wind take them all away. They told me that life has a lot of thorns, and it's up to me to cut them and go on to the next level. Best of all, not only did I learn it by their words, but I learned it by seeing my own parents and teachers. Imagine they are like the hard-working versions of Superman, who never loses the ability to fly even when a huge block of kryptonite is on their way. With them, I've drawn the perfect picture with using the whole box of crayons. Number 3, uniqueness. Doug Floyd once said, "You don't get harmony when everyone sings the same note." LGCLA taught me to be unique. Before, I forced myself to be what others are and have what they have. It's like putting all the sand on one bottle. Instead of making me feel good of myself, it made me feel worse. Because my mind and body was so stretched out on what I expected myself to be. Then there's this tiny whisper at the back of my head telling me that we're not born of the same number of pimples on our faces, the same amount of hair, the same amount of money in our pockets, the same as we are born separately, the same we live differently apart from what others do. All of us can play a few notes. It's just in a matter of doing so that we differ. Number 4, hope. Victor Hugo once said, "What makes night within us may leave stars." Rain falls hard, but after the rain there's a rainbow. Cats fall hard a lot of times, but they still survive because of their 9 lives. A bubble disappears with a single pop, but we could create another one. Leaves fall from a tree more than once, but a tree could grow more leaves. Clothes get wet from time to time, but they still dry up. And that's a good representation of never losing hope. No matter how hard we fall or break, hope arises right after. They say a true Filipino smiles after adversity. Why wouldn't every one of us? LGCLA taught me not only to smile after every problem, but to laugh about it. People say even the darkest hour has only 60 minutes. So why would we lose hope at one problem if after some time it would end? LGCLA taught me not to stand on the edge of a cliff, but to fall to the unstill waters and strive hard to reach the surface. And on that surface, I'll even see a sky full of stars even at daylight. Next, kindness. Cleveland Emery once said, "What this world needs is a new kind of army, the army of the kind." I honestly cannot exemplify kindness, but I just want to share how the school taught me to be kind. LGCLA taught me that we can be kind in our own simple way. Even by simply lending one's ballpen to a person who needs it is already kind. By simply carrying the bag of an old lady as you help her cross the street is already kind. By simply washing the dishes for your tired mother is already kind. Kindness is hard to control. We just can't help but help someone in need. It's like it runs in every person's blood. Our minds control, but the heart wants what it wants. They taught me that kindness always comes back after a little journey on a long golden chain shown, and in the end creates an army of the kind. That's kindness, the ability to be blessed by blessing others. True, they say, truth shall prevail. True, one word that means a lot and causes a lot when not told. The same is true with me and LGCLA. These are the examples of truth the school had taught me. The truth of studying, which states that life is a long journey of lessons to learn. The truth of living, which shows that living is different from leaving. The true measure of living is knowing what you've gone through and to whom you spent those moments with, not by leaving them all behind after the taste of success. The truth of being yourself all the time. That means always remembering that God created us in His own image. No one's made a failure. Faith. Paul Simon once said, "When you're very feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all, I'm on your side. When times get rough, and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down." One of the most important things LGCLA had taught me was faith. Faith that can move mountains, as the song says. He showed me the true importance of God in my life, that He's not just an invisible being, but a loving Father. They not only thought of His word for me to hear, but to feel and believe. I mean it. I never would have bothered even reading the Bible without LGCLA. I just know the Bible stories, but never have thought that God was a huge part of them. Without the school, I went to church for nothing, not even bothering to listen to the preaching of the priests. I'm so close to nothing. Nothing but just another creation that will live and one day die. Now my whole life is vested upon His hands. Before, I thought I was in control, like I'm the puppeteer of my future. But with the school, I'm changed. There must have been something in the water, as the song says. Lastly, success. An anonymous person once said, "Success does not come through grades, degrees, or distinctions. It comes through experiences that expand your belief to what is possible." LGCLA had always felt the word success to me. Success was something I never did expect nor really wanted to have. It was more of like a famous character in a cartoon, something that will never come to life. But the school showed me how to make it come alive. The school showed me that everything's within reach. They told me that it's not in a matter of forcing oneself to be whom they're not and to hide under the limelight. But success criteria of judging is how hard I will try to fly above others' expectations and to follow my own path, and I would have been lost without LGCLA. I'm still afraid to even say, hope to see you soon to my classmates. I sincerely believe it will happen, though it's quite impossible. Still, I'm afraid to step out of the sanctuary after the graduation. Still, I'm afraid to say goodbye and actually got angry with the person who invented that word. After all, this is just the start of something even bigger. Something that only God can control. And after all, there's always something good and goodbye. We break even, then move on to the next chapter of our lives. Our lives are our story, and we write it. As what Martin H. Fisher once said, life is a ticket to the greatest show on earth. Thank you, and God bless us all.